very much, and thank you very much for all of you who have waited for my arrival. Indeed, I had to drive here, but it's obviously a pleasure to be today among you. As we spoke since the beginning, and it's a cliche, but it's a true fact, is matches like or competitions or knockout rounds in 2 matches are always very tough, both matches. Obviously that theoretically people can state that there's an advantage because we already played away and we were able to score 1 goal, and then we play home. But I really see it as in a theoretical plan. I think that objectivity of football is what is going to happen inside the 4 lines. 2 teams with a strong will, as we saw in the first match, to make the things fall for their side. After we took a look on the first match, it was clear that it was not a very beautiful match of football, and I don't expect the second one to be much far away from that. The teams are more fighting rather than looking to play. Difficult to escape from the duels, difficult to escape from the physical part of the match. Well, I hope that of course we can increase the level on the second half of the second match and see a more beautiful football match than we saw in the first one. And I say that because I think that as much as us, Mamelodi Sundowns, can make it the way we like it to be, of course as much we take advantage out of it, and we have a clear intention to win the match, because we don't consider that having scored away and coming from a draw away gives you that comfort, as if we had scored another goal and made another result, we could have got. So expectations of a tough match against a serious opponent, the level of matches every player and every coach wants to be involved in, and every fan wants to watch with a lot of emotions. And for sure it will be interesting to follow.
Yes, I'm going to ask that we limit it to 1 question per person, please. So let's start with Benjamin Eswatini, Daily News.
Coach, Benjamin Renda, Eswatini Daily News. As you have already alluded to, say it was a 1-1 draw, which gives you a slight of an advantage because it's an away goal. What's the approach to the game? Do you say, let's just keep the 1-0, or you want to open up and give them the chance also to counter-attack you?
Yeah, there's any coach that thinks that managing a draw advantage because he scored away and tries to take the game in that way is making a big mistake. So it's not over even in my way of approaching a football game, and for sure also not in the nature of our players in our club. We have a big responsibility, and the responsibility is obviously to make the best possible out of this semi-final, and to make it we need to be aggressive enough to have our moments, to create our moments and to score goals. I believe that we need to score goals if we want to go through, because we also play against a team that can score any moment by the quality of the players that will for sure line up on the other side. What is obviously important is that the teams understand how they can be aggressed, and how we can take offensive actions that can aggress Orlando Pirates, and that's what we're going to do for sure. So these kind of matches are matches that tactically must be very well prepared, because obviously conceding is also takes out advantage of the goal that we scored away, and scoring just gives you one goal advantage, because if Orlando Pirates scores again any moment, then we get a null and we go for, we still need to fight for more. So I think that our approach will be like a normal match. We want to win. We know what qualities has our opponent. We need to reduce them. I think in the first match we had in some moments, some difficulties. We need to correct those details, reminding that details are very important things in football. So when we think about details, it doesn't mean that those things are not massive, because they are massive. They can make you suffer goals. And correcting those mistakes, I don't expect that Orlando Pirates will play a different way. They will be the team loyal to themselves, as we see since the new coach arrived. It's very clear. Even yesterday we saw again in the match against Stellenbosch that the way they play is very clear and very easy to characterize. It doesn't mean that it's easy to control, but we need to do it, and we need to take the ball and create our moments and manage the game as much as possible the way we like and we know and we should do, trying to impose as much as possible.
Okay, Spogazi, to the mic. I've noted you, Leonard, and Nick.
Good afternoon, Supervisor from ENCA. Coach, previously you've spoken a lot about the importance of not just winning the league, but cup competitions as well during the season. Just speak to us about the importance of actually going all the way in this competition and possibly lifting this MTN8 trophy.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to see women among men in this room, and thank you for the question. Obviously, it's important to win cups, because for a club like Mamelodi Sundowns, it's important to be in all the decision moments of all the competitions. Me, myself, of course, and the players, we feel that there's energy for this competition. It's the starting of the season. It opens, obviously, and states a beginning, and everybody likes to give a first step forward, let's say. Brings new energy, brings dynamic. But one of two of the most important teams in South Africa will stay out, and life will continue. Of course, that we don't want that to happen to us, and we're going to approach in a very serious way the match, trying to inspire players to decide the game in the right moments and work with the team so that we have a tactical approach that allows the players to feel comfortable throughout all the match.
Okay, Coach, let's go to Leonard.
Leonard Soms, ESPN Africa. Coach, Peter Shalulile has just equaled the PSL all-time goals record. By all accounts, he's a consummate professional. It's been a tough time, but I think throughout the past year, whether or not he's been getting the game time he wanted, he's still been showing up, doing his job. But has there ever been a moment at which it became difficult, his head dropped, and you had to say anything to get that fire back in him?
Peter is one of the examples that we have obviously inside the club by the dedication that he has to his profession, to the fact of being a football player. He trains very hard. He's an example for everybody, but at the same time he's one out of all the other ones that also are very professional, that also have qualities and also have level. And Peter is a reference for all of everybody inside the club. I don't know if you noticed, but even myself yesterday, I called him on the sideline to salute him and give him a hug, very special one, because he made an achievement that we don't want to stop there, but that we all wanted to share that moment. Later, when we arrived in the hotel, we had the chance to congratulate him among everybody before we sit to dine. And he had a chance to dance for us, because it's a tradition that we have. When someone has a good moment, we share a little bit of dance, and he shared that moment with us, and that was obviously for us a very beautiful family moment. We trust all the players inside the team. We believe that the season will give moments for everybody to highlight themselves. What is important is that everybody understands that it's in in the heart of the family that those moments will appear never. Peter is now fully committed with us, as we are fully committed with Peter on keeping him on the moment, physically, tactically, technically, to continue to perform and to add goals to his goal scoring record.
Let's move on to Nick.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Coach. Nick Leeson from Backpage Media. Despite Sundowns' success over the last few years in the league, the club hasn't won a domestic cup since the 2021-22 season. How important would claiming this title be in expanding the club's dominance domestically?
Well, it's obviously an interesting question, and that comes on the line of the previous ones. As for the players, for me, for the club, this cup is important because it's the next competition that will finish, let's say. And we have to look at it in that way. It's the next one that will finish in not a long time, so we need to finish in the best way possible. We don't relate exactly with the past. I said that here in the press conference before. We don't relate with the past, we relate with ambitions that we try to keep in the high as much as possible inside the club. And considering that we have next match as the important one always in our thoughts, that's how we face it. If we do it the right way, we'll have the right to play the final. If we don't do it the right way or not on the limit, we will not get that right. And then we just need to look forward. But I think it's time, obviously, I totally agree, it's time to stay the club in cups and win cups. I believe that we have conditions to do, but I believe also there will be on the other side someone that will fight for it. So let's see if we will be stronger. And let's hope Mamelodi Sundowns can do it, of course.
Inente? Just behind you, brother.
Coach Minete from Supersport Blitz. You're coming up a team in the last couple of weeks. They haven't got the desired results, but the result they got last night against Stellenbosch, one would think that would give them a sense of confidence. Do you see it making this mission a bit more tricky, not to be comfortable with that 1-0 lead? The away goal rule, the away goal, plus that now they're starting to find some sort of confidence within them.
Look, my locker room is full of energy to deal with everything that we have to face. And I believe that in this moment, throughout all the PSL, the locker rooms are full of energy to make good things. There are teams that didn't won 2 matches and yesterday won matches. There are teams that won previously and yesterday didn't win. We draw the first one, we won 2 in a row. A lot of illusion for sure in all the clubs of the PSL. And that's how we need to understand. Things are starting, a lot to be written. It's important to start well. So that's why this next match obviously is important. But still then, whoever wins will have to play a final. So a lot to go, but a lot of illusion inside Mamelodi Sundowns locker room in the moment for sure.
Yolula?
Coach Yolula from News of Africa. Coach, your team yesterday seemed like you were able to rest a couple of players that are usually starters under you. First, how important is that for a coach to have the luxury of being able to rotate in the manner that you did? And those players that were able to do a bit of a breather on the bench, do you think that little breather will give you and your team's intensity a bit of an advantage going into that game on Saturday?
I think that what will tell us if that was an advantage is how the players, and let's see who is going to line up, because yesterday there were players that also made a statement to ourselves. Let's see who will line up on the match. But what is important, and will be fine if the ones that rested, if they play, that was important, is the way they give themselves to the match. I heard the coach from Orlando Pirates saying here, and I totally agree, that these kind of matches, they need inspiration, but they also need transpiration. he didn't use these words, but he said it's important also to have the spirit to play these kind of matches. And I totally agree. And sometimes the spirit that the teams might have, they overcome levels of more tiredness or more rest, and they become diluted throughout the match. I expect that it will be an intense match, I have no doubt. An intense match for sure, since the very beginning until the end. Managing the effort throughout the match will be important, but also entering strong is important. I think the game will have different moments and we'll have to cope with the moments in the best way. What I think is important is to have the mind in the right place so that you leave the right emotions throughout all the match. Because, for example, I didn't like how the team behaved in the last 20 minutes of the previous match at all. Because I think it was not the way we should have done to even eventually look for a second goal. So there are always things that happen in the matches that have to do with fatigue, that have to do with the mindset, with the emotions that you live throughout the match. I just hope that on Saturday we can have Lucas Moripe with a lot of fans from Mamelodi Sundowns on the stands, so that we can also get the energy that pushes teams forward in the moments that players need to be pushed forward. So that if that happens, and for sure it will also help us a lot to deal with the match.
Okay, we're taking the last round of questions as we wrap up. Hands that were already out. Temba, Matlati. I noted Maskepe as well. If we've got more time, we'll come to you, Njabulo and Laurent.
Temba Shabala, Joseph, I'm sports coach. Mamelodi Sundowns is one of the clubs that doesn't usually make negative headlines, but in this case we've seen the likes of Mudau, the likes of Masego, now the Ribeiro story, making headlines on socials and all of that, but the team hasn't actually said much. What is actually happening there, coach, and how much of these rumors are disturbing your locker room, seeing that your players still give you results?
Well, I think Mamelodi Sundowns is not making any kind of noise around whatever happens. Mamelodi Sundowns is preserving everything that might be happening and keep it inside locker rooms, inside the doors, let's say. The locker room is impossible to be raped. It's impossible to be broken by these kind of things. The locker room is too strong. The values inside the club are too strong so that these kind of events touch whatever. The focus is so strong on becoming better, on working for preparing every match, and the time is so small that the levels of concentration, of course, must be so high that we don't have to relate with what happens around. We have always the philosophy of if someone falls, two should rise. That's how we develop character, how we shape character. And I think that's how has been written the story of Mamelodi Sundowns, by strong characters, by strong values, by strong people. And whatever happens, it's always solved inside doors in the best way possible, and for sure in the right moment, spoken publicly.
Mhlatsi?
Good afternoon, Coach. Coach, just to check, how important is the availability of Tabalo Morena now that Sailor has not been available, just, him being back? Because for a while that right back position has looked like it's a bit of a problem for him.
Obviously that when you have only one player for that position available, you are always a native player, a player that always, it gives always some discomfort to the coach. That's why, and let's think that Keegan Yohannes, that also can play on the right of the national team. Let's understand that Mudau is not available in the moment. Let's understand that Moreno was injured just too. And now you understand why, because I heard so much talks about that, why Fawaz also had to play on the right, because we could not risk to play all the matches in a row with Zuko. in order not to risk to lose him, and then we would have non-player or any player to play on that position that is native from the position. So what we did was exactly manage the players that we had available. Of course, now that Tapelo is already available, it gives us more options for the future, for the nearest future. And from there, our thoughts and our work, it becomes absolutely different. And for example, going back on Fawaz, yesterday you saw him obviously as an option on the left. So it's up to us, because it's very interesting, because we sometimes my assistant coaches, they or brief me on some things that people discuss and speak, and sometimes so many things are written and said that have nothing to do with the reality that is happening inside the club, or the conditions of the players, or the players that are available, or why we decide to do that, and people just think that it's the head of the coach that is brewing something that, no, it's because it's what we have to do in order to manage the situation, the moment, the condition of the players, who we have available, or who we need available in the following match that we need to manage here, and considering what happened before, the game time of the players, the risk of injuries, the fact that they are injured or have a small thing that sometimes need us to protect him from an exposure for a long time on a match. So there are so many things that must be managed that that only us have the knowledge to really then understand why we put a certain lineup sometimes to play. It looks that it's just come out of nothing, but nothing is done without a lot of analysis, a lot of thoughts, a lot of discussion, reflection, and even sometimes like that we have to risk, and even sometimes we have to risk. But we always prefer to keep the players as available as possible, because we know that the hard schedule that we have will make some players fall naturally, because the aggression is very big. If we don't take care of them, and we also expose them to situations where we increase the risk of losing players, then we are not being intelligent or wise. And that's always what we do, always, because it's very important to have availability to then manage, as the question came in, I think it was the first question, then manage some context throughout the games. Having availability, that's very important.
Okay, let's go to Maskepe.
Coach Maskepe from Power FM. Yeah. I think in your first answer, you spoke about the clear characteristics of Orlando Pirates under the new coach. I think one that has been noted, maybe by myself as well, is their centre-back pairing of Mbokazi and Siema, and also how they are able to start the Pirates play. Do you find that to be maybe a difference in how they have been playing in the last couple of games? Because I also note how important the Mbokazi was when Sundowns lost to Pirates 2-1, I think, last season at Orlando.
Look, guys, I understand that it's interesting to get the feedback from the coach from the other team regarding the team that he's going to play against. But it's curious, because I was asked about Orlando Pirates after the match that we played, and I said the coach would be there to speak about it. And then the coach of Orlando Pirates was asked about Mamelodi Sundowns, and his answer was the same. The coach of Sundowns was here to speak about Sundowns. I think that I'm here to speak about my team, not about Orlando Pirates, that I respect so much, of course. And it's not really something that is nice for a coach to be asked questions about the other team, because I'm here to speak about my team, my players, my club, my beloveds, and that's how I feel the situation. And that has nothing to do with the opponents. It's just how we relate with our things, I think. But what is important to understand for everybody is that obviously the new coach, or when the coach comes in a club, and gradually, because usually coaches look the past on the teams. If the teams become from a successful moment, the changes are much more easygoing, let's say, more slow, so that the team doesn't feel the impact of the changes. When the coach arrives in a context where the team was weak or was not having success, everybody is eager to change. And then the coach can arrive and change everything because it will be accepted, because no one is comfortable where it was before. So I think that's not what is happening in Orlando Pirates. It's happening a gradual transformation on the team according to the fact that the team came from also a good season. So the coach is managing that and he's giving his identity to the team, that for sure, also because there are new players in the team. That's also a reality that we need to understand. When you enter 4, 5, 6 players in a team, the characteristics of the players and the way those players can impact the team also makes the team become different. And for sure, as soon as the market will finish and also new players will enter Mamelodi Sundowns, you will see new things appearing in Mamelodi Sundowns. Not because the coach became now a creative guy, but because those players will oblige us to look at them, understand what they have to increase the quality of the team, and we have to adapt to produce quality output or outcome in terms of results from all of them. And that's how I see the situation in Orlando Pirates.
Right, colleagues, I know there was still a lot of hands, but in the interest of time, we will have to end here. Thank you so much. Coach, you are quite popular. There's so many questions for you.
Thank you very much again for waiting for me. It's really a pleasure to be here again in the house and among you.
Thank you. All the best, Coach.
For your soccer updates, visit www.ngo2010sharpi.com.